fact that not everybody knows. Polk County actually has two school districts, the Polk County School District and the Lake Wales Charter School. And each of these school districts has their own homeless liaison who works in the community to help combat homelessness. Both of these school districts have partnered with the Florida Public Relations Association on the Fill a Bag for Homeless Students program. With us today to talk about this are Dee Dee Wright, the homeless liaison for the Polk School District Hearth Project, Paula Alford, homeless liaison for the Lake Wales Charter Schools, and Cassie Jacoby, Florida Public Relations Association Community Involvement Chair. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Now, I've always been curious about this. What is the actual definition for what homeless means in the population that you deal with?
Well, there is a federal law, it's called the McKinney-Vento Act, and it actually defines a homeless student as a student who lacks a fixed, regular, adequate nighttime residence. And it goes on in the law to explain that that includes kids who are living on the streets, in tents, in cars or vehicles or public places that are not meant to sleep in, shelters, whether that's an emergency shelter or transitional shelter. But it also goes on to include families who are having to live with other family members or friends out of economic need, which is a doubled up population. And then it does also include the kids who are having to live in the budget motels and hotels or in substandard housing, like where you have code violations and things to that nature.
Now, Paula, what is it that you actually do to help these populations and these students to get out of the homelessness situations that they find themselves in?
I think the most important thing that that we do is is to identify those students. We go to great lengths to make sure that our schools, that we're identifying the children, and once we identify the students, the whole premise is to remove any educational barriers for those children that are identified as homeless.
Now, how do both of these school districts work with each other to accomplish this, or does it a situation where you both work separately but equally to try and accomplish what you do?
Well, it is that we work separately to accomplish what we do in each of our districts, but we work very closely because we do have students who will be identified in a homeless situation over in Paula's district and then will move over into our district. And so we have our transportation department will work together to help keep the kids in their same schools. And then we just always work together because it's just needed, and it's just nice to have somebody who you can call and say, hey, what about this? And
a partnership always
exactly,
makes us stronger.
exactly.
Now, I know that you have partnered with the Florida Public Relations Association for the Fill a Bag for Homeless Students program. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, it is our honor, the Dick Polk County chapter of the FPRA. It's our honor to be able to do whatever we can do, even if it's just a little bit of help to provide Paula and Dee Dee some help for the homeless students and students at risk for homelessness. And we used to do it around the holidays, you know, and it gets kind of lost in the shuffle where we gather hygiene products. Personal hygiene products, we take them for granted: a toothbrush, shampoo, toilet paper. No, we actually don't gather toilet paper, but mostly we gather toothbrush, combs, brushes, toothpaste, personal hygiene products, shampoo, deodorant, and we gather things for young ladies, girls, and for young men, for boys. And so we wanted to do it over the summer because that's when they have a couple of months off, and they, although stay in touch with both Dee Dee and Paula throughout the summer months, we wanted to resupply their stock chest because they've got to fill this need all year round. So it's our honor to be able to help in just a small way, and that's why we ask the public to go and just say you go to the dollar store or you go and find one, buy one, get one. Well, go ahead and buy an extra product and then drop it off so you can donate it at either one of the fire rescue stations throughout the county. They'll have a box in there. You can say you can just drop it off some fill-a-bag items. Or BB&T has graciously agreed to be our drop-off locations. There's 10 of them in Polk County, Winter Haven, Lakeland, Fort Meade, Polk City. They're all over the place, and we have all of them listed on the FPRA, the polkfpra.org website.
I know it's so important to be able to find and collect all of these necessities for the homeless population in Polk County, especially the younger demographic that is a part of what you do specifically in the school districts. What does the homeless population look like here in Polk County when we're talking about students?
Well, for Polk County schools, usually about 65 to 70% of the students that we do identify are doubled up. They're having to live with other relatives or friends out of economic need. And we have seen an increase in our unaccompanied high school youth population, and that is the high school youth that are not living with their legal parent or guardian for a variety of reasons. And it seems like most of it is a conflict at home with a step parent or a significant other, and that can cause the problems, and so the student feels like they have to leave. And so we have seen a huge increase in that number, and that's why it's really nice with the hygiene items, because putting them in the gallon Ziploc bag, we're able to just stick them in their backpack. And so we do have students sometimes that do what they call couch surfing, and that's where they'll stay with this friend this night or 2 nights, and then they'll stay with this friend. And so no matter where they go, they could still have their hygiene items that they can carry with them, as they go from place to place. So,
now, what are the numbers as far as how many students are there actually in Polk County that are affected by homelessness?
well, the Polk County school system, we've already identified over 3,600 kids so far this school year, which I do want to state that we implemented a student residency questionnaire, which is a form that allows the families to self-identify their living situation, and that has accounted to an increase of about 600 additional students. So we're still well above where we were last year, which was 2,591 for the entire school year. And Paula, what about Lake Wales?
Lake Wales, this is our second year using the student residency form, and as Dee Dee stated, we really noted a change in our numbers, really a significant increase in our numbers once we started using that residency form, because every student goes home with the student residency form. Our numbers were like at 259. We have 6 schools, and as Dee Dee said, our greatest number would be considered doubled up. And then there is a definite increase in students at the high school level that we call unaccompanied youth.
And Andy, that's a dramatic increase from this time last year. Would you say a few thousand more, huh?
Well, it's 1,000 more for Polk County, and we're not done with the school year yet. So.
Right. And
already.
we were trying to figure out why. There's so many. One thing is you do have some accurate numbers on your residency questionnaire, but we were talking about the economy, and it's so hard for people. There's a lot of judgment out there, what makes people down and out, and then the kids are homeless, and so they may have issues with not spending money wisely, but to be judgmental about that is really kind of unfair for the kids, because they really didn't do anything to cause this.
No, definitely, and the great thing is that there are programs like what you're doing with the Fill a Bag for homeless students that are really going out of the way to make sure that these very needed items are given to these people who are really in desperate need for what they are.
Paula told me this story that just always makes me, Dee Dee told me this story, it makes me really cry and breaks my heart when I think of the little boy who was getting a toothbrush, going through his backpack, and he pulls out his hygiene bag, and you tell it so beautifully, Dee Dee.
Well, we also give the book bags of school supplies and uniforms for students as well, and a couple of brand new books that we put into a book bag for them to get started in the school system. And so he was digging through, he was in our office, and he was digging through his brand new book bag with brand new school supplies, brand new uniforms, brand new books, hygiene pack with brand new hygiene items, and he's digging through, and all of a sudden he pulls out and he goes, "Ah, my very own toothbrush."
Oh, wow.
And so I use that to let people know that things that a lot of us may take for granted really do have a very big impact on kids who are doing without.
You can imagine the self-esteem and the being ready to show up at school, ready to learn. Well, if you don't have a toothbrush, you don't feel so great, or your other hygiene products, and the summer's going to be long and hot.
In Florida, it always is.
Makes you feel a lot better to be, scrubbed up.
Definitely. Now, speaking of doing good things in the community, I know that Florida Public Relations Association is also doing a couple other things over the year to help out with the community.
Well, our other community involvement project, we're so thrilled at its success, and we're hosting the Caroline Classic for the 3rd year, expecting 300 runners to go up to Bach Tower Gardens. It's just a brand new event, relatively new. It runs throughout the gardens, off-road, on-road. It's a challenging course, called the Carillon Classic because of the Singing Tower Carillon. And so all these runners go up there, and a portion of all the funding that's raised goes to the George Harris Homeless Shelter, the runaway shelter located in Bartow. And that's such a beautiful, beautiful project. And I know you guys work with them too, because I guess some of your students are there.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have this coming up very shortly. It's going to be, I think you can still register to win up until, or actually you can even register to race up until the very day. Just show up, and also everybody who gets to run or walk, doesn't have to be a race, you get a t-shirt, and you also get to bring a friend or family member to the gardens for free.
Well,
So it's a real win-win.
definitely, definitely such a great job that all of you are doing in the community, and thank you so much for coming out to us today and talking about this.
Well, thank you for having us.
And once again, the Fill a Bag for Homeless Students program is running through May the 28th, and it is doing amazing things to help not only with the homeless population as far as making sure that they have products that they need, but also with their self-esteem and making sure that they're able to acclimate into the everyday school life the way that they properly should. If you are interested in dropping off personal hygiene products for the Fill a Bag program, including shampoos and conditioners, toothbrushes and toothpaste, bath soap, brushes and combs, deodorant and washcloths, you can do this through May the 28th. And anyone wishing to donate items after the kickoff can drop them off at any branch office of the BB&T Bank, either in Bartow or anywhere else in the county. Or you can go to the Lakeland and Winter Haven Polk County fire stations and office locations throughout the county, as well as the Lakeside Village campus of Webster University in Lakeland, or the headquarters for ACT Environmental and Infrastructure in Bartow. If you'd like to find out more information, be sure to go to their website at fprapolk.org, or you can give them a call at 863-206-6759.